Good morning, everyone. It is 8 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. Glad to have you along with us. Welcome to Tom and Shane on Saturday. Hey, we've got a big show coming up for you today. We've got the auto strike going on. We've got Biden possible impeachment. We got gun charges against Hunter. And we've got a judge that doesn't like charter schools in Montana very much. We've also got a poll of Rosendale, Sheehy, and Tester. And, of course, joining me, as always, Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing, is in Kamloops, Canada. Good morning, Shane.
I'm enjoying this. It's great. It's fall here, Indian summer.
Yeah.
100 degrees during the day, and then it gets down to, you know, 35 degrees at night. This is great. This is a great time of year. I have to wear my fuzzy to keep warm.
Yeah, well, we have the same thing here right now. 56 degrees outside, so we're happy to be here on Saturday morning. A lot of fun to talk about. So it is National Gymnastics Day. It's National Step Family Day. So if you're a stepchild, stepfather, stepmother, stepkid, whatever, this is your day. National Working Parents Day also, Shane. So if your parents are all out there working their keisters off, kudos to them. And this one, Shane, it's the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. When was the last time you heard about the ozone layer?
Not very often. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's so important.
Well, they say that if nothing changes, it'll be back to full whatever it's supposed to be by 2040. So, and it's International Coastal Cleanup Day. So, all you folks out on the East Coast and West Coast, clean up your beaches.
Or on the Flathead Coast. That's the biggest lake west of the Mississippi, so I'm sure there's waste out there on Flathead Lake.
I'm sure there is, yeah. There's, and also, it's National Eat an Apple Day, so happy to pass that on to you. Also,
wow,
we got gas.
That's why I had an orange this morning.
Also, we got gas prices going up, Shane. We were supposed to see inflation go down, but this month it went back up to 3.7.
And, that's the official rate.
Yeah, that's the official rate. We know better. We know better than that.
Yeah, the under radar rate's like 15 still.
Yeah, it's still right up there. So yeah. So, well, the Bobcats are going to take on the Stetson Hatters. Shane, what a name! What a dumb name for a team, a Stetson Hatters.
Oh, is that? Let me see. It can't be Texas. They're not in that league.
No.
So Idaho.
No, they're somewhere in Florida of all places.
Florida.
So, they're Florida.
They have a team in Florida, and wow.
And they're called the Stetson Hatters. I mean, they should be from at least Colorado or Wyoming or somewhere like that. I mean,
right? Yeah.
And
Texas,
who was the genius that thought up Stetson? Oh, let's call them the Hatters.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
Well, he was a good friend of mine, Stetson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in my dreams.
Yeah, right. That's
because he made that hat for the TV show Haas.
Oh,
that big hat that Haas used to wear.
Yeah, Bonanza.
That was a Stetson hat.
Yeah, Bonanza. Yeah, 10-gallon hat. Yeah,
that 10-gallon hat, baby.
Well, let's see if we can get a phone call this morning. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255 if you want to be a part of the big broadcast. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Absolutely glad to be on commercial-free radio.
Amen.
The great one is in the house.
No, not the great one. That's Mark Levin now, Shane. I'm just grateful to be alive.
No, you're far better.
By the way, I've been on the campus of Stetson. It's a nice little campus tucked away in the woods in South Florida, centrally South Florida, near Orlando or south of Orlando. It's a cute little campus. It really is. And by the way, Tom, did you watch the game last week?
The Bobcat game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy smoke!
I know.
Talk about the refs getting involved in a game. That's brutal. It really reminded me of the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. They got robbed. MSU got robbed.
Now, I thought maybe it was Chinese refs. Maybe North Korea or somebody. I wasn't sure.
Oh, geez. And by the way, you mentioned it's National Step Something Day.
Step Family Day. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about a National Stepped On Day? That's the way most of Americans feel what's been happening to them.
I was going to say boot on the neck. Would you say we got a boot on the neck kind of deal?
Well, if you're going to talk about hats, you got to talk about boots.
Yeah, that's true.
and Shane, explain to me. I have a couple of questions. Explain to me why our gas prices are way above the national average, 20 cents more than the national average here in Montana. You know, Georgia suspended their gas tax. It would be nice if it would happen here in Montana. After all, they're going to appraise your property higher, and they're going to get more taxes from that. So how about suspending the gas tax here?
And we've got three refineries here.
I was just going to say, you have more refineries than like 50 other states.
Well, where's that? Shane, where the heck is that gas going? Up to Canada, for crying out loud? What's going on?
Yeah, a lot of it comes to Canada. We import about 40% of our gas BC. We don't have any refineries in BC. Yeah. They have them in Alberta, so we get it from Montana, Alberta, and Washington. Our gas.
Well, I'm going to bend that pipe. I'm going to bend that pipe and send it over here to Big Timber, for crying out loud. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then light it on fire, and burn it off so it heats the entire, it's like when you were a kid, you left the door open in the winter and your dad would close it and say, "We're not heating the neighborhood anymore."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, that'll put too much carbon pollution and carbon particulates into the air. Yeah. Hey, Tom, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I heard on the news that the third largest line item on the budget is the interest on the debt. Now that's right. That to me is that to me is critical. It could be number one here, if they don't get their act together.
Mm-hmm. Social Security, Medicare, and interest. Right?
Yeah, or the three mandatory payments. So right now the interest on the debt is $677 billion. So I don't know, what is that? 10 miles of highway?
That's 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks.
When you're talking about trillions of dollars, $600 billion isn't much. So we can easily pay that.
So how long do you think we can easily pay that, Tom, before we can't easily pay it?
Well, it's
no. You on the Treasury auctions every Tuesday or Thursday sometimes they raise around $400 billion a week to $500 billion a week. So 2 weeks, 2 weeks of Treasury auctions and it's paid.
Yeah. So it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me put it in perspective for you. Hang on, Shane. Let me put it in perspective for you, Jerry. The debt per citizen.
Be careful, Jerry. Jerry's going to talk about you. I know he is.
Be careful. I'm going to talk about you guys. According to the U.S. National Debt Clock, the debt per citizen is $98,000. The debt per taxpayer is $254,000, but what they don't tell you is the assets per citizen, $585,950.
Hey, Tom, I'm looking around right now. I don't have that much in assets. Come on.
Well, you're retired, Jerry. You couldn't possibly. Yeah. You're spending your assets.
Yeah. Well, Shane makes up for both of us, Jerry.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Shane's chauffeur makes more than you and I do.
Yeah, now you know why I can't send you any more allowance, Tom.
That's
Even
right.
though you're my adopted son.
Yeah.
I can't afford it.
I don't know what to tell you. All
right, man. Smokes. I don't see any.
The son of another father. Just your luck, Jerry.
That's it. Yeah.
But do you see them settling anything in this future thing by September 30th about the
the debt ceiling? No.
Yeah.
I think we'll have a shutdown. I think we will.
Well, that's fine with me, for crying out loud.
Well,
shut the whole government down.
Well, the nice thing about government shutdowns is they send all non-essential personnel home, and they should just stay there.
Right. Right, but they get paid, Tom.
Well, that's true. Yeah, they get paid.
Yeah, but they don't do anything anyway, Jerry. You know that.
Well, that's why they're not essential,
That's right. They're not essential because they don't do anything.
They should have badges, NA or NE, I guess it would be.
NE.
Then why are the American taxpayers paying them in the first place if they're non-essential?
Well, because they vote,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Boy. Anyway, I just am absolutely flummoxed by this news report. It was just at the top of the hour. A lot of people think that Biden is incompetent and age and this and
You're
that.
Kidding me.
And then they turn around with a poll that says Trump is it doesn't have the mental capacity. My gosh, Bernie Sanders has got more mental capacity than Biden, and the guy's as sharp as a tack.
Well, they didn't tell you the bottom line of that poll was he doesn't have the mental capacity to talk to Biden.
Oh,
nobody does.
Oh, gotcha.
You couldn't talk to your president.
Yeah, it's a close race between Biden and Feinstein as to who should run the country.
I thought it was between Biden and Kamala Harris.
Well, that could be too. Yeah, we're going to talk about if the Democrats are going to dump her later in the show. So stay tuned for that.
I think they will, Tom, and I'm telling you, I still think Gavin Newsom is waiting in the wings.
Yep,
I really
do too. And Michelle,
of course,
Michelle Obama's waiting in the wings as well.
No,
really?
No.
You don't think so?
Oh, by the way, Jerry, did you see that I won another breakfast from Tom? I mean,
no
Hunter
way.
got indicted. Well, Hunter got indicted. Someone's being made accountable. So when they convict him and he goes off to jail, over Christmas the family will meet and Biden will come out with an announcement he's not running, and then sometime after the election, before he's gone, he'll pardon his son.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if he has to be president to pardon his son, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's still president until January.
Yeah. Before he leaves
president until next January. Yeah.
Well, that depends on when they convict him. If they
impeach him, then Kamala would have to do it.
No, they're not going to impeach him. Waste of time. Bad politics. Bad idea.
No.
I would think it would be a great idea to impeach him, because that opens up for Newsom to come in, and you can dump Kamala, and you can add the gal from California that Pelosi wants, Byrd.
Nah. The only way you get rid of Biden and Kamala is Biden says, I'm not running, because she won't. There's no way she's going to run.
Well, there's talk about Gretchen Whitmer. But the point I wanted to make is
Gretchen Whitmer be vice president to Newsom.
Yeah.
Right. But the point I was trying to make, Tom, is I'm talking about if Hunter is convicted, depending on when he is, that's, when the president could pardon him if the president is still the president. But if this trial takes, so long and delayed to the point where Biden is not the president, he can't convict him, correct?
That'd be true.
Once he's out of office?
Yeah, once you're gone, you're gone.
Oh, no, the trial will be this month. It's a 2-day trial.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Shane, if you can't afford to take Tom to breakfast, I'll stand in for you. I'll drive down.
No, Tom, I won the bet. Tom said he'd never get charged or convicted.
Yeah, or go to jail.
He's going to get all three, Tom, baby. It's a... Yeah, I should have taken it a try.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to jail. No, he ain't going to jail. I don't know.
Okay,
Tom, he's going to jail. He's got to take the bullet. He's got to take the bullet for the old man.
Don't think so. Not going to happen.
So, Tom, you and I will pay for Shane's breakfast. But are we going to go to Canada for that, or is he coming down here?
Well, the only place you can get Canadian bacon is here. So, so he's got to come here. So.
Okay. Well, we're waiting on you, Shane. Whenever you get here, we'll pay for your breakfast, son.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks, Jerry.
For taking my call, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, good morning. My God, you men really get together and gab.
We don't. We're worse than we're worse than the women's book club.
This morning. Oh my God, just like a bunch of crows out of a clothesline. I'm telling you, it was fun listening to you, though. Then you can't talk about women gossip.
No, No, we can't.
I'm telling you.
It's like that song from. It's like that, Nancy. It's like that song from the Music Man. Remember? Pick a little, pack a little, pick a little, pack a little, pick a little, pack a little.
Right. Well, I hope everybody's got a second cup of coffee this morning so you can sit and enjoy listening to Tom and Shane. But I've got two things today. I have a prediction for 2024, the presidential election, and also I have a comment on our Second Amendment. And I'm going to predict that there's going to be a tremendous silent Trump vote coming from a lot of the swing states, and this is also going to include the state of Arizona. And the primary issue here is illegal immigration and our national security. I think that is at the top and the most in Americans' minds right now. And I was listening to a report yesterday, and there's conflicting numbers about these illegals coming into our country. I've heard 2.3 million, and I've heard yesterday they say there could be up to 10 million by the end of 2024 entering our nation illegally along that southern and northern border. And 177K so far are unaccounted for, but I have a feeling that there's even more than this. And we're seeing evidence of the frustration and the anger of Americans in New York State. As a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, Congresswoman AOC was pushed up against the wall, and I have never seen an angrier crowd than the New York City residents over this illegal immigration, and it's just getting to the boiling point now, and that's going to be it right there. And I'm telling you, I have something to say about these swing states. Trump is up like 41% in the polls in states like Wisconsin and Georgia and Pennsylvania. It's just absolutely amazing. And the Trump supporter, MAGA, it's just going to stand. They're not going to budge. They're going to vote for him no matter what. I'm seeing this more and more and more in the American attitude. And getting to our Second Amendment, I want to say that we saw the states of New Mexico and also Maryland infringe upon our Second Amendment rights. And any way you look at it, they cannot do this. It would take a convention of states with a two-thirds vote in Congress and also a final approval in our Senate to change any amendment. And I'm telling you, they're going to try and get around our Constitution because we Americans irresponsibly allowed our government to do this during the Chinese virus shutdown. They got away with it once, and they're going to try and do it to just step on our rights no matter what. And I want to make one point here. Earlier, in the last couple of weeks, we kept hearing about this illegal alien that got out of prison. He was here from Brazil, where he had murdered, and he made it into our country, into the state of Pennsylvania, where he murdered again. And he escaped from prison. And I want to say that he entered an American's house who was a gun owner. He stole a gun, and the American picked up another gun that he owned and started to shoot at this illegal alien. And all I had to say is this guy shot 7 times and missed his target. I want to tell Americans, just because you have a gun, make sure that you target practice, that you practice using guns, because we don't use guns every day like our ancestors did. If you're going to have a gun, do target practice. Make sure you can shoot so you can hit your target, because we've got one hell of a lot of enemies, and a lot of them have come crossing into this country illegally from Mexico, Brazil, every other country, Pakistan, and China. The Chinese want to kill us. Get out there, practice with your guns, and hit the target, because you're going to need to.
All right. Well said, Nancy.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend, guys.
All right, you too.
Thank you, Nancy.
Take care. All right. Well, let's see. Our text line, of course, is active. Michelle Obama would be our first tranny president. A lot of people think Michelle is male. So, well, I don't know if you've seen it, Shane. It was all over the YouTube. The testimony of a guy who claimed to have sex with Barack Obama.
No, so, I have no interest.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But I'm just saying, that I guess now we've got 2 gay presidents, Buchanan and Obama. So I don't know. Anyway. I think the Demolition Party might nominate Eric Adams, but no one will run unless Joe steps down. And that's true. Joe's got to get out of there. Trump has
stepped down. Yeah. There's no question he'll step down. Yeah,
Trump has the mental capacity of a 12-year-old. That's his level of understanding and how things work. Sad. Do you know how many people have been charged in Delaware for lying on the firearms form and who did not commit a crime with a gun? 0, but let's lock up Hunter.
Well, first of all, Trump at 12 years old would still be the greatest president you ever had.
Republicans are salivating over Hunter being charged for something they didn't believe should be a crime. I'm sure worried about about illegal stealing my job than the end of democracy by a mob at the Capitol. I'm glad it didn't.
The reference they're making is it's on a first charge, gun issue. This, it isn't as aggressively prosecuted or they don't generally end up in jail. But the problem that he's got is it's up to 25 years he could face because 3 charges and $750,000 in fines. It's $250,000 a pop. So he's doing time, baby. He's got to take a bullet.
Well, I guess we'll be sending some emails to China for those fines, huh? So
that's right.
All right. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Thanks for joining us this morning. Hey, we still got to talk more about the strike. We got to talk about the Hunter gun charges. We got to talk about the judge gag order on Trump on January 6th, and also we got a judge blocking charter schools in Montana. All that's coming up, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Saturday. It's September 16th, 2023. Tom and Shane on the radio this morning. Happy to have you along with us. Gas going up, $4.19 and $4.21 I saw this morning coming into work or to play. Well, I guess I can't call this work. From our text line, 478-8298. Republicans, I think I already read that. Let's see. I'm sure worried about illegal stealing my job at the end of democracy by a mob at the Capitol. I think I already read that one. Practice shooting your gun so you can kill Chinese. Well, later on in the show, we're going to talk about a senior White House official who claims China is going to go to war with us. So we'll be talking about that when we come back here a little later on the show. Class of Republicans who claim Michelle is trans. Wow, is that 3rd grade? Trump, 12 years old, would be best, not a cult. All right. Trump pardoned Steve Bannon, the guy who stole $1 million for his Build the Wall hoax. Yep, that's absolutely right. The list of creepy creeps Trump pardoned is amazing, all loyal criminals. Who would imagine Americans would support a man convicted of sexual assault and indicted for trying to overthrow an election? Our founders are rolling in their graves. Well, I'm wondering about that myself. Shane, if you're going to sniff, turn your sound down or blow your nose or whatever.
He's such a nice guy.
Please.
Yeah.
I had to turn you down during Nancy.
Sure.
Who would imagine Americans? Yeah, how can you have the head of a crime family and a guy with 4 indictments, both running for presidents, both running at the top of their tickets, and everybody seems to be behind both of them? How's that work, Shane?
Well, the first thing you got wrong is not both of them are at the top of their ticket. Biden's at the bottom. Trump's at the top. And the second thing is that it makes perfect sense when you realize what's gone on for the last 20 years as far as politics. And you're just in a situation where your republic works. And you may not like the way it works, but it works, and so does your Constitution and even the Bill of Rights. But you're lucky because first world country, you're on top of the heat. You're at the top of the pyramid.
Well, so Trump,
people just have to try and figure out what the right thing is to do.
Well, Biden's at 66%, Kennedy's at 12%, and Marianne Williamson's is about 6 or 7. So I would say Biden's at the top of the ticket.
Yeah, until you go to the other polls about how well he's doing running the country and everything else. Those are manicured. They don't just polish them and sharpen them. They trim them as well.
Well, as we've said many times, we don't hold a whole lot of confidence in polls, and particularly, where the one this morning was that Trump is ahead of Biden 2 points. That really doesn't mean anything unless Trump is ahead of Biden in states that will count toward the Electoral College.
Well taken, no question about it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We've done this enough over 12 years to understand that.
Well, Hillary was 10 points ahead of Trump the night of the election in every poll out there, but she got plenty of votes. She just got them in the wrong place.
And not enough in others.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, in our country, it's first over the line. Whoever gets the most votes, it's like yours.
Mm-hmm.
But our prime minister, 6 years ago, he wanted to change it and do an equally shared based upon the number of votes, which is quite humorous because in the last election, the Conservative Party got more votes than him, but not in all the right places. So they would have had a majority government if he had his way. So it's just funny how things work out the way they do.
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, I'm glad I didn't vote for Hunter Biden. Hunter will be the first person doing time for lying on a firearms farm without using a gun in a crime. Trump will be the first traitor to get support of Republicans. What a country.
Look, the guy's an admitted addict. Well, this is going on 5 years ago or back in 2014 and on. So with the amount of drugs he was buying and the money he was spending and walking around with, of course he wanted to get a gun. It's like, it's just one of these situations where he didn't do it right, which is not anybody's fault but his own. And if the law says he should be, charged with something, then he should be. Well, the judge said last month or 2 months ago, come back with something else, and now they're coming back with charges. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Role model Congressman Lauren Boebert got thrown out of a theater because she thought the rules didn't apply to her. She was vaping, standing up and singing. And if China goes to war with us, who we sell our stuff to? Well, we don't sell our stuff to China. We buy our stuff from China.
Well, that's right.
Who are they going to sell to?
Yeah. No, it would be all the stuff about China and all the conversations and talking heads and people calling in. And they all have it so bad. I mean, they admit to the numbers being so bad, and they're just sort of referencing it. Well, China's economy is trying to come back. It's not coming back, folks. China is way beyond it. Where you are economically in the dump. I mean, they're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, their economy is shrinking and collapsing sector by sector. It's not an over the cliff. It's like a waterfall.
Yeah. What crimes did the crime family commit? You use the Fox term crime family. You mean the family that stole from a charity, ran a fake university, and tried to steal an election?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. You got both of these
money, right? Yeah.
You got both of these guys accused of various, bad behaviors. I'll dress it down a little bit, but. And for both of them to be.
I don't know why you keep saying that. I got to call you out on this. Look, everything that the Democrats have thrown at Trump for 7 years has failed. No one's found. Trump is the most investigated, reviewed, lawyer sought, charged guy ever. I mean, he's going to not just go down in history as being a president. He's going to go down in history in the legal profession as the most, let's look up his skirt and see what he's got guy. So no, Trump hasn't done anything wrong. He's not been convicted of anything. Anything he felt he did wrong, he righted with a check in his own money. So you can't even compare him with what the Bidens are doing. I mean, this is across the board: fraud, corruption, treason. I mean, it's the whole gambit, the whole thing. It's bad.
Well, both of them are going to end up in some kind of court, so we're going to find out.
Well, yeah,
we're going to find out. So,
yeah.
Oh, let's see. From our text line 478-8298. Sounds like the ignorance of those suffering from Trump derangement syndrome are active on the text line this morning.
They have been for 10 years. Haven't you been listening?
I still don't understand the irrational fear of Trump. I mean, come on. You got through 4 years without, you came out the other side of 4 years with him.
They threw enough schiff against the wall for it to stick with their, their the woke left. It's just the woke left.
Yeah.
And all you got to remember is that girl on the floor in the center in New York on election night in 2016. I mean, that's famous.
Yeah.
Sitting there crying. It was just amazing.
Republicans keep claiming Joe Biden is a criminal. What actual evidence do you have? Well, the only evidence I have is that they're convening a impeachment inquiry.
No, that's not true, Tom. By his own admittance, he's broken the law.
Well, he did that. He did that bribe thing. He did that bribe thing.
When he got up on the video and bragged about his this and that, quid pro quo in Ukraine and the $1 billion. So it's if you can't believe your lying eyes and your lying ears, you're not going to believe a conviction. You'll say, "Oh, that's not a real conviction. He wasn't really guilty."
Yeah, right.
I mean, there you go. That's what it'll be. Yeah.
Hillary was ahead in the polls until 10 days before when Comey released that investigation letter. Polls are 20 days behind. Thank Comey for Trump's win in 2016. Well, it didn't matter when the polls came out. It's what the polls were reported election day and the day before election day. So,
well, we're reminded this
she was still ahead in the polls.
We were reminded this week because of Libya what Hillary did 10 years ago as Secretary of State. I mean, she wiped out the northern part of Africa all the way to the Middle East. So, boy, she was great as as Secretary of State. And there's no question she broke the law with it's not even comparable to the documents they're charging Trump with. Not even remotely, similar. It's just craziness. Yeah.
Hunter's been investigated for 5 years, and all they found was a gun charge. Wow. Well, that's not true.
No. He admitted to the IRS claims of not paying his taxes. So and that's going to go on to the members of the family and the 10, 20, whatever it is, companies they've set up to pay everyone, whether they pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only grandchild that's innocent is the one that Biden wouldn't ever recognize because the other 6 got money. Sad reality, isn't it? Yeah. Think about that one.
Why not? Yeah. Well, also, too, the prosecution and the Justice Department let the statute of limitations run out on Biden's IRS situation. So, that's pretty much on them. I think the
Republicans are taking my advice. I'm really happy to say this. They have a lot more information. It's a Biden dumpster fire with his son and this situation they're in. And I think they'll just continue to bring out more and more. It's the old Chinese drip torture. And the only thing that I was surprised by, Tom, is that when your Department of Justice and the prosecutor, who's after Trump, by the way, announces they're going to indict Biden this week, Hunter, no one indicted Trump. I mean, all of a sudden they broke with their consistency. I mean, every time something happens to Hunter, some other prosecutor pops his head up somewhere and says, "Oh, I'm going to indict Trump now." You know, like, it's amazing.
I guess they ran out of charges. I don't know, but Hunter lied on a federal form, even though he didn't use the gun, is a violation of federal law.
It's the Brady Law. We've gone over it for 10 years and talked about it. I mean, and it clearly it tells you in the Biden-led the Brady Law, because they want to. It started years ago when we were talking about it, about people on drugs and everything, and it's all in the law. It says right in the Brady Law. Go read it, look it up, Google it, Brady gun law, and you'll see in the section, it says you can't get a gun if you're a drug addict or you're using drugs. So it's right in it's the law.
Yeah, read carefully. Who will China sell their stuff to if we war? Yeah, I misread that earlier.
Yeah. That's why they won't. I mean, China's
needs us more than we need them.
Yeah, that's right.
There's zero evidence of crimes by the Biden family. Bilking foreigners for consulting is not a crime. Well, it depends on what they were consulting for and what the consulting fee paid for. Trump was fined for stealing from a charity and indicted for documents. We fear a vengeful Trump who doesn't need voters again. So what? Do we still not have a judicial system? Do we not have a legislative branch?
Well, do you not have an election system?
Do we not have a constitution anymore?
So instead of going out and voting 10 times, you don't have to go out and vote at all, right?
Apparently. I don't know. The next election is going to be the ethics election. Policy will take a back seat. There you go. Yeah,
probably good observation.
Yeah, it will.
Good observation.
It will be. Shane, are you an American citizen?
No.
Okay. If so, move back to the U.S. or shut up.
No, I was 6 months old when I arrived in the U.S. in 1955.
Yep.
And I left in 1981 and came back to Canada. That's it.
Yep. Went to school in Billings and MSU at Bozeman and ran the Bacchus Pub downtown. And
the CSU in Colorado, went to high school in Denver.
Yeah.
And, after the volcano in Washington State in what, 81 or 2? 81, I guess it was. And, I thought, well, I think I'll go back to Canada. It's probably still there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Why on earth would someone brag about a bribe? Do you idiots even know who Viktor Shokin is? Do you know why the IMF and the rest of NATO wanted Shokin fired? Shokin was a bad dude who was part of Ukraine corruption. All absolutely correct. Shokin was a bad guy.
Well, I want to get deep here on this for just a second. During the impeachment trial, the Democrats brought out the ambassador that was in the Ukraine at the time, and the assistant, and like 3 or 4 others of these CIA, Department of Justice, Department of State people that, if you remember, testified about what was going on in the Ukraine, and none of them said anything about him, about Yulkin or whatever. In fact, they all recognized him as a good guy. So, go back and remind yourself about the testimony of the people in the Obama administration, that testified against Trump to impeach him, and they completely were incompetent. They didn't do their jobs. They didn't investigate or go find out what was going on in the Ukraine. I mean, that was their job. They were getting paid 6-digit numbers and living in a 5-star hotel, and it's so ripe with corruption that it's very sad. Yeah.
Well, it is, but even at the time of the firing, Shokin hadn't brought any charges against anyone for anything, and he hadn't done anything with Burisma for at least a year before that bribe. So, just Clue everybody in.
Yeah. We're trying to remind them, we're not trying to clue them and just remind them.
Right. Anyone who doesn't recognize the coordinated effort by the Biden administration, the Injustice Department under Merrick, thank God he's now in the Supreme Court, Garland, the yard dog Democrat prosecutors, and the leftist Democrat judges who are all under the direction to prosecute Trump and remove him from the presidential race are blindly accepting the fascist tyranny of the current corrupt administration.
Well, you ever heard of a nutshell? That's a double nutshell.
Yeah. Let's see. Hunter failed to file a tax return. Is that criminal? Your station advertises people helping people like that. Well, let me say 4 words to you: Willie Nelson, Wesley Snipes.
Well, that too, and the fact he admitted to it.
Yeah.
That got a plea bargain because he admitted that he has intentionally ignored paying his taxes. And the reason we know he did that is because of all the money that went to the family, including the grandchildren. Because now they're all going to be under the telescope, microscope, whatever you want to scope them with.
And Hunter's attorney paid his tax bill. So
I hope they all get a colonoscopy. That's what they should all get.
Well, anyway. Clearly, 2 sets of justice. If your last name is Biden and you lie on a form, you go to jail. Every other person gets away with it. Well, why do they even have the form then?
Well, not only that, but tell us what person's gone to jail.
Yeah. So apparently, if your name is Biden, if you get charged with crimes, despite what Republicans claim, they are the only victims.
Well, that's not true. If you're Trump, you're falsely accused and found innocent. But when you're Biden and people, make accusations, no one in the government follows up on it. No one wants to investigate it. No one wants to pursue it. And the media doesn't want to talk about it. But now they're being forced to. So it's the dam is breaking. Yeah. It really is. This crack is really big. It's bigger than the house that's coming down in the market. When the roof comes off the market, buddy.
There we go. From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. Get the app, AM 1450 KMMS, wherever you get your smartphone apps at. It's the woke sea monster who keeps texting in the same old lies every week in support of Democrats. Sad. Well, all views are welcome here.
Monster. So. He's a woke monster because he texts and because he can't cook Chinese food, so he has to text.
Okay. Well, I thought we were going to talk about other things this first hour, but we got waylaid into that, so we got about 2 minutes left. So I'll tease a little bit here. Okay. The Stetson Hatters are going to be on XL Country 100.7 on your FM dial at 1 p.m. today. They're out of Florida, so I kind of wish they were playing here in February, or, well, I guess they wouldn't play in February, but at least December when it was a little cold for them. But we'll see. So I don't have any odds on the game. The odds that I was getting last year, they are woefully not handling it this year as well as they did last year. So I'd like to clue you in on who's doing what, but can't do it. So when we come back, we are going to cover this UAW strike, believe it or not. we did the Biden gun charges. And, well, the White House says Biden won't pardon Hunter if he's convicted, Shane. You were talking about that earlier, that you thought he would before he leaves office if Hunter has to go to the Gray Bar Motel. Oh.
Of course you're saying that, Tom. I mean, it's your left-wing woke media. Like the way they are retelling the story about what's going on in the Biden family is hysterical. Yeah. It really is.
So if Newsom is elected, will he pardon Hunter?
No, his father will before he leaves office. after the election and before, if he runs and he'll lose after the election. If he doesn't run, he'll wait for the election, and then after the election, he'll pardon his son.
Okay.
But over Christmas, they're going to get together and they're going to decide he's not going to run. So that's what will happen.
Okay. So Biden wins. Does he pardon the kid?
Biden's not going to run. So that's my position.
If Biden runs and wins, will he pardon his son?
Yes, he will.
Okay.
Yeah. Either way, he will.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, we're done. So
take the bullet, and the dad, does the operation and pulls it out of the shoulder and sends him home.
Well, one of the secretaries claims China's preparing for war with the U.S., so we'll be talking about that when we come back as well. So we got a lot to talk about here this morning, Shane. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for our first hour. We still got 2 full hours to go. So
I have to spend 2 more hours with you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's.
Well, at least you look good. Well, I mean, I got the camera going on Skype, so I can see you.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that community service is a bitch, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's, when it's free, you can't complain. You just have to get angry.
That's right. Change in the Witless Protection Program up in Canada. No one knows quite where he is for sure.
Just on the side of the mountain, on the side of a mountain somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. We'll return. Don't go away. Tom and Jane, Saturday morning, right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 7 minutes after the hour of 9 a.m. Mountain Time. It's Saturday. It's September 16th, 2023. Happy to have you along with us. And don't forget the Bobcats are going to take on the Stetson Hatters out at the stadium today at 1 o'clock. That'll be on our sister station, XL Country 100.7 on your FM dial. Tom and Shane in on Saturday. And Shane, before we get to the UAW strike, I don't know if you heard the story about the poor, unfortunate woman flying from Atlanta to Barcelona and was hit by a massive severe diarrhea on the plane.
No, I don't think I missed that one.
You missed that one. Well, yeah, it was spread across the aisles. The vanilla disinfectant made it smell worse. They were 2 hours out in an 8-hour flight, so 2 hours back to Atlanta with the smell. How often do they change the air in the cabin, Shane? Like every 10 seconds or something like that with HEPA filters or something. So those things must have got a real workout.
Well, look, the simple response to this is the pilot should have, released the oxygen masks, and then everybody would have been fine on the ride back.
Well, apparently they didn't think of that. So
no, of course not. That's not the protocol. That's not the protocol.
Well, fortunately for this woman, I looked at several stories on this, and thankfully for her, they didn't name her. That would have been insult to injury, I think. But anyway, they took the plane back to Atlanta, ripped out all the carpets in the thing, and put in new carpet and put the passengers back on the same plane. Now, no word if the woman was on the plane with them, but they cleaned this plane, and then you put the same people back on the same plane, and they made it into Barcelona. Finally, a few hours late, I guess, but that's pretty amazing. I don't think you can rip out the carpet without taking out the seats. I don't know. Maybe you can.
I have no idea.
I don't know what. Depending on how big the plane was,
And a lot of times when these kinds of stories come up, I just look at it and go, "This isn't real. This just."
I know it doesn't sound real, does it? So,
well, the airline industry is in deep doo-doo. I mean, the numbers are down. People can't afford to fly as much, and so the numbers are down across the board. And all the airline stocks are down. And everybody's looking at this with Christmas coming and going, "Oh my gosh, I hope we get a turnaround here." Yeah. A turnaround. That was a.
I would think so. Yeah.
Turnaround on the plane,
Yeah.
Turnaround.
Well, union 146,000 members are walked off the job at GM plants in Wentzville, Missouri, Wayne, Michigan, and a Stellantis Jeep plant in Toledo, Ohio. So
this a joke. It's 3 plants, so it's not a total strike. It's an action being taken. They want a 40% increase. Ford has offered them 20%. So is GM. They're saying, and the president's saying, record profits, for the auto companies. Really, Ford lost $2 billion last year on electric cars. Okay, and so please, this is. The American President movie was great because there was a scene where he had to go to Chicago at Christmas time because there was a strike, right? And again, Biden gets up and what's he say? Well, their collective agreement bargaining is the way to go. And I talked to both of them and said, let's get this settled. Well, clearly no one listened to him if he talked to him, but who does?
Yeah.
We don't listen to Biden when he talks because he doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's certainly true. So,
yesterday he was making a speech about this, and he's reading the teleprompter. And, I don't remember specifically what he said, something like, we need, they need to settle this. And then he goes, repeat, we need to settle this. I mean, the teleprompter is telling him to repeat what he just said, but he reads repeat. I mean, this guy isn't even out for lunch. I mean, he ordered one of those 3-inch Subways. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, I mean, in Indonesia, the Subway's got a 3-inch Subway.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, 3-inch. Yeah. All right. General Motors, profit as a percent of revenue, 6.3%. Shane, that's the profit as a percentage of revenue that they make, 6% profit.
Well, look, the fellow that's making this worse is your president, and every woke politician who wants to get rid of the combustion engine in cars. All these people are going to be out of work, and the plants that they're shutting down, if this runs for a while, I guarantee you they're going to move to turn them over to robots to build, electric flying cars.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other I didn't find anything on Ford, but Stellantis. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. They're in the Netherlands. They bought Chrysler Jeep. The profit for them as a percent of revenue is 9.4%. So they're doing a little better, at least. The stockholders' equity profits as a percent of stockholder equity, 23% for them, and for GM, let's see, it is 14.7%. So, as I say, I couldn't find the numbers on Ford. They weren't included in the information that.
Well, pre-COVID, the union workers were over 16 million. Now they're 15.5.
Yeah,
and that's because of the woke issue about getting rid of cars. I mean, that's. I mean, the largest sector of the economy with union workers is the auto industry, and you've seen the ad on television that Ford employs more auto workers than anyone else, and so you look at these things and you go, why would they be striking? I personally, really bad. I mean, remember the guys running the unions still get paid. They're like government workers.
Yeah, that's true. Right? Yeah. Well, they want a 36% increase, and that would take them from about $60,000 a year. Well, it'll take them from about $70,000 a year to $90,000.
Right.
If that were to take place.
So that ad they're running on TV about the guy who's third generation grandfather, father, and him, and he can't afford to buy a car that he's building. Now he can buy a car that he's building.
And GM has a battery plant in Ohio. The workers there, 1,100 of them, will get a 3 to 4 hour raise if this thing goes into effect. And the average increase, 25%, it would be effective August 28th if it, but they went on strike, so we don't know what's going to happen there. But since it's retroactive, so they'd get $3,000 to $7,000 as well as based on the hours that they've worked. So they start at $16.50 per hour at this battery plant in Ohio. So $32 an hour is starting at GM, I think, Shane, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
well, it's a sad reality because we're looking at the buggy whip and horse-drawn carriage, and same thing happened 100 years ago when cars came around, and this is amazing because so many things that are happening today. You know, you just have to look back 100 years and it was going on then. You know, all of this stuff is very crazy. By the way, we all saw this great thing where the great leader of North Korea went to Russia. So remember, Pyongyang's longest railroad line is from Pyongyang, North Korea, through the 15-mile border with Russia, all the way to the capital of Russia and elsewhere. So, yeah, this is hasn't been out of the country in 5 years. Fires 2 missiles off for China while he's gone. It's a great story for all these, dictators to talk about: Ukraine, North Korea, China, and Russia. But boy, democracy's it's fallen down on the way, Thomas. I mean, too many countries are not following the game plan.
No, they're not. From our text line, 406-478-8298. The reason I believe that Trump won in 2020 is just sheer volume. The sheer volume of people that show up wherever he is phenomenal. I believe he won't believe he was cheated out of it. And I know you say there's not enough evidence. How do you know? Well, nobody's presented enough evidence. So at least not yet anyway.
Yeah.
So the deep state goes so far as to have no clue how far they went to steal the election. I'm seeing what all people, even with the Democrats, know, that he won. Vehicles are very expensive, so why can't we give them a raise? The price of a vehicle is ridiculously high, and they should give them a raise. I heard only one guy on the radio say he works there. There are candy bars for the vehicle. I don't know what that means, but unions add about $3,000 to $4,000 to the price of a car, Shane, with the benefits and everything that they get. So, not that I'm begrudging them getting the benefits, but I'm just saying that part of what you pay is for the union deal. And Michigan is a right to work state now, so people don't have to join a union as a condition of work.
That's true. And you look at it, with the car shows and everything, and the average American car built is around $25,000. That's not too bad considering, where the economy stands and what they were 10 years ago. So it's just one of these things that you look at and you go, what's going to be the result of the importing of cars? Now, remember back in the 80s, Japan had the market with Honda, and we saw what happened there. The stock market went to 36,000 a square foot. In Tokyo was selling for $2 million a square foot, and boom, the roof went off their market. They dropped to 15,000, and now they're back to 34. They're only like 2,000 to 3,000 points away from their all-time high, with not having improved anything except everybody's trying to figure out where they put their billions, buddy. Where do I put my billions?
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, maybe you should limit texters to a couple of texts a week. The same 2 or 3 texters get old after a while. Well, they get old for me, I'll tell you, and I don't read all of them, but I want to be balanced. We want to read the negative and the positives.
And they're part of the show.
They're part of the show.
They have been from the beginning.
Not everybody listens continuously to all 3 hours. I mean, I don't. So.
You don't listen to what we talk about?
No, I don't. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I only listen.
Well, I try to keep on top of it.
I only listen to about an hour of it.
Oh, okay.
BS. Biden will pardon Hunter. We should bomb North Korea, the North Korean train, and do the North Koreans a favor. Okay, I guess.
Well, Iran's going to be a bigger nuclear problem before North Korea is. That's for darn sure. Yeah.
See, Hunter Biden cooperated with the IRS, paid his fine. Wesley Snipes, Willie Nelson, both lied to the IRS. A nice attempt at whataboutism, Tom. Why are we afraid of Trump? We saw what he could do in 4 years when he has to answer to voters. A second term will be more dangerous. Well, what did he do? Let's see. Low inflation, low gas prices, oil independence. What am I missing, Shane? Right to try, first step, opportunity zones, most money to black colleges of any president ever. And, the list of successes goes on and on and on.
Well, those two guys, it's unfair and bad decisions by your government because they were cheated and robbed by their financial advisors and their lawyers and their accountants, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, the big difference is that he has admitted to not doing it, not paying his taxes, and they didn't. They fought and lost. So anyway, be careful what you talk about if you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Why are you afraid of Obama? We survived Obama just fine. Yeah, we did just fine. Thankfully.
Yeah, right.
You had to endure Carter to get Reagan. You had to endure Obama to get Trump. So there you are.
So Obama left you with a 14-year war in the Ukraine. Yeah. And a stronger China, and did nothing to stop the Russians. So, and then you talk about what Hillary did to North Africa, and Obama went along with all of it. I don't know. Yeah. Foreign policy under Obama, to me, looks like it was.
And Obama separated the races like never before. So.
Oh my gosh, separated.
If you don't see if you don't see the danger of Trump's narcissism and his lies, I can't help you. Did Shane Did Shane just say great leader of Korea? Did Shane fall in love with Kim?
No, that's what they call him. Jeez.
There you go. When are we going to investigate? Jared got $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. What did Saudi Arabia get? All right, fighter jets. Okay, well, maybe they did.
Well, not yet. It'll be 15 years before they get them.
Yeah. I
mean, it'll have been because it's been, this war's been going on for 14 years. They're saying next year. It's always next year.
Yeah. It's so much fun to see both Democrats, Trump and Biden, stick up to auto workers. And Biden kept Trump's liberal tariffs. Tell me again how Trump is not a liberal. Nikki Haley is right. Neither of these two guys are fit. She's the only adult in the room. Well, she beats Biden by 4 points in some polls that I've seen. So,
yeah, in her home state.
She may be there. Yeah. I agree with Shane. Biden will pardon his son, probably won't get the Democratic nomination. In fact, he's not even going to get in the running until South Carolina.
He in January, before Valentine's Day, he will, walk away from running. Yeah.
Okay, mark that down in your calendars, folks. Valentine's Day, Biden's gone, according to Shane. So.
Yeah. That's another breakfast bet. You owe me so many. I mean I got a wallflower full.
That said, Biden didn't run the last time in that he stayed in his basement and still got elected. How is that possible? I know. I said the same thing. How can Hillary not beat Trump, and how can Trump not beat Biden? I don't know. Jeez. It's whistleblowers' notes released corroborating Shapley's claim in Hunter Biden case and refuting the FBI agent. So there we go. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, we got to remember the Romney-Obama election, difference of 500,000 votes. Same with Trump and Hillary, same with Trump and Biden. So
nobody wants to drive a $25,000 lemon. Well, you're at the bottom of the food chain if you're buying a car in that price range. That's probably, I think the cheapest Ford is like 27, something like that. But if you want the cup holders and the the plushy seats, you're going to be well into $100,000 for some of these trucks and things that they got going on. So.
Well, in 72, I bought a Honda Matic. It was the only Honda built with automatic transmission, and I drove it for 20 years. So the reason the Chinese won out was because the American car industry built cars to last for 3 or 4 years because they wanted people like the iPhone to buy a new one every couple of years. And we all know the story. They even admitted it 10 years later. Yeah. All the car manufacturers admitted it.
Oh, let's see. Maybe we should vote for the guy who came up with opportunity zones. Hint, not Trump. Well, Trump came up with opportunity zones, so you got 3 of them right here in Bozeman. So, if crowd size is a determination of who should be president, Taylor Swift should be president. The silent majority don't go to rallies.
Hey, listen, that's not a bad idea. This is a young woman who has done a remarkable job creating her own brand. Remember, 16. By the time she was 18, she was a multi-millionaire. Yeah. And she's worth over $500 million, owns everything, her own brand, does her own marketing, designs her own clothes, shows, writes her own music. I mean, she's pretty good as president.
She's quite a talent,
She is incredible.
Yeah. From our text line.
Oh, you go.
From our text line, 478-8298, I barely survived Obama.
That's good. See, that's why Tom likes to read these, because some of them are really good.
Some of them are really good. Let's see. From Jeff, he's got a 2024 Accord Hybrid, 46 miles to the gallon, 32,000. So if you bought that new, that's pretty good price. So go for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Doesn't matter who votes. Only matters who counts the votes.
Or rather, how they count the votes.
Yeah, or how they count. Well, we'll see this time around if they put paper up over the windows so you can't see in, and see if everybody has to stay 6 feet away from the people checking the signatures and everything. So.
Yeah, but common sense tells you put cameras over every machine, at 2 angles, straight down and at an angle. I mean, this is not rocket science.
It's easy to do. Yeah. Well, when we come back, we got to talk about the $6 billion prisoner swap that Biden did. Also, his disapproval rating going up. The case to drop Kamala. We're going to talk about that. And also, we're going to talk about judge asked to impose narrow gag order on Trump in January 6th case. So we'll see all of that coming up in the next half hour. So stay tuned. Don't go away. Tom and Shane will return right after these important words. Welcome back, everyone. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Saturday. It's September 16th, 2023. Tom Eagle Life, your morning mayor of the house. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And want to remind you, the Stetson Hatters are going to visit the Montana State Bobcats this afternoon, 1 p.m. out at the stadium. So that is going to take place. That'll be on our sister station, XL Country 100.7 on your FM dial. So, hey, don't forget about that. So, all right, we've got to talk about the this deal with Iran, and the Biden administration has struck a deal with Iran to swap prisoners and release $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds. per the deal, Iran will release 5 American citizens detained in Iran, and the U.S. will release 5 Iranian citizens being held in the U.S. And the deal creates a blanket waiver to transfer $6 billion in frozen Iranian money from South Korea to Qatar without fear of violating U.S. sanctions. No money is going directly to Iran, and no U.S. taxpayer funds are being used. The United States classifies Iran, of course, as a state-sponsored terrorist nation. Anthony Blinken signed off on the deal late last week, but Congress was not notified of the decision until Monday, the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, according to the notification that was obtained by the Associated Press. So what do you think, Shane? Deal or no deal?
No deal.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Things about this that is very upsetting. Your government won't tell anybody who the 5 Iranians they're giving up are.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably bet they're all terrorists. Probably some from Guantanamo.
I would think so.
I could be wrong, but I would bet. Second thing is that look, the money's supposed to be spent for humanitarian. Well, that's no excuse. So, okay, let's say you take a couple billion to buy chicken and eggs, which they're very short of. So now they don't have to buy the chicken and eggs, and they can take $2 billion of their own money and go spend it on terrorism. I mean, these people, your government's saying from the CIA down to the Joint Chiefs of Staff that, Iran within 4 months could have 10 nuclear weapons. 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so it's danger all over the world. We have to all pray because this is like 100 years ago. I mean, it's like the 1920s again, and everybody's looking at this and they're ignoring all of it.
Yeah,
all of it. Sorry, all of it.
All right, 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Oh, good morning, Tom and Shane.
Hey.
This is Kenny from Colorado.
Hey, all right. Thanks for tuning in.
I haven't called for a while, but I listen every week.
All right.
In fact, I would have enjoyed having coffee out at Four Corners with you and Clint and Sammy and Shane.
Yeah.
It would have been enjoyable. We could have had
not just the coffee, but the view from the shop. They got an amazing view.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I used to go there a lot. Anyway, that was a long time ago. I want to bring up the fact that these electric cars, I think they're a fad because I can't imagine them working in the North Country when a battery is at 0%. 0 degrees is about 50%, maybe. So you wouldn't get very far in Montana, that's for sure. North Dakota, all them cold states. Anyway, I've been listening for a long time, since George Carter days, and I look forward to it every week. I listen to the games on FM. I get it on my phone.
All right.
You get it. Yeah, and I miss Clint. I haven't heard him for not very much anymore. We're both.
Oh no, he was on a couple weeks ago. He called in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Must have missed it. I had to pee probably.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get old.
That's for sure. Amen.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, I really enjoy your show.
Well, thanks. We appreciate you listening.
Keep up the good work, and thank you for being there.
Yeah.
I want to thank Shane too. He's one of the most intelligent persons, and especially since he's not even American, really. You should. He really is American by proxy. Let's face it.
There you go.
I would agree with that.
He knows much more than some of these people on the street when they put the microphone in front of they don't know who the first president of the United States is or who our current vice president is, et cetera. So thanks for being there. Appreciate you guys. And I listen. I remember Jerry and Nancy and But all of them, it's just amazing. You get used to hearing these guys. But anyway, I'm alive and well yet.
All right.
Down in Colorado, and it's amazing all those neutrons.
Where are you in Colorado? I went to high school in Denver and college up at the Buffalo College, where they got a great football team this year, right?
Oh boy, I've been listening to them and watching them on TV because I get the local stations.
Yeah.
I'm down south of Denver, 2 hours past, just a little past Colorado Springs, but
beautiful place, beautiful. Ever been to Red Rocks there? In Boulder?
I'm not very familiar. I moved from Montana, so I lived all my life in Montana. So, but I just watch those games, and Neon Dion, he's doing all right with that Buffalo.
Yeah.
he let a lot of players go, the older ones, the ones that were there last year. He just put a whole new crew in there, his son, and that Hunter that plays, he reminds me of Troy Anderson. Troy Anderson plays for Falcons now, but he's unbelievable. So,
all right, man. Well, thanks for the call. Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks again.
So, everybody, my advice: put on your bucket list Boulder, Colorado. Go see the Red Rocks Red Rocks Theater, carved out of the side of a mountain. Great concerts. Incredible place to visit and to go see and hear music. It's like a Greek or Roman theater, carved right out of the side of the mountain. It's beautiful.
Well, I'm 84 now, and I don't get out that much anymore, especially concerts. But I do know where it is. I drive by it on 25 whenever I go up to Montana. So, it's pretty famous. I heard. I've never been there. But I'm getting interested in buffaloes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hot, baby. Hot.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. So,
all right, man.
Yeah, that game last week with South Dakota, that was.
Yeah, I know. That was. I don't know. That was
disappointing. Like you say, the refs, they were they were something to scream at.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say goodbye. You
all right.
Stay there and just keep going. Do what you do.
Will do. All right. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it very much. Yeah. From our text line, Shane, 478-8298, Taylor Swift is worth $740 million.
Bingo.
Yeah. Taylor's music all sounds the same. So does Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley and
the great ones, you mean?
Who's that guy from the Jackson 5? Iranians say they will spend the money however they want. Yep, I agree with that. I think they will.
They will, of course.
Yeah. Let's see. A January 6th rioter was convicted and sentenced in secret. No one will say why. So, sent me a link to an article there. So, secret courts, another step, this very slippery slope.
Yep, that situation after 9/11, when the Patriot Act, it's done nothing good.
Yeah.
Yet the FISA court should be gone. The Patriot Act should be gone. Let's get freedom ringing.
Yeah, there you go. Well, due to getting back to the deal with Iran and Blinken and the 5 exchange prisoners, due to numerous U.S. sanctions on foreign banks that exchange and transactions aimed at benefiting Iran, several European countries had balked at participating in the transfer. Blinken's waiver is aimed at easing their concerns about any risk of U.S. sanctions. And the National Security Council say that they are going to ensure Iranian funds could move from one restricted account to another and remain restricted to humanitarian trade. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, in this deal, Blinken blinked 5 times and then said, "Oh, I'm right."
I was going to say, this is like the inspectors in Iran looking at all the whatever. So I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who counts the votes matters. That's right. Republicans counting the votes in Georgia, and Trump still lost. I don't recall that only Republicans were counting the votes in Georgia. So
no, that's not right.
By the way, that's the reason Trump got indicted for trying to cheat Georgia counting votes. Biden's around it was bad, but not as bad as Trump releasing 5,000 Taliban fighters back to Afghanistan. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Guess we'll find out, won't we?
At some point.
Yeah. Well, in other news, we've got to talk about because that's why we're here.
I like that. That's a good one. Yeah.
What are we going to do with Kamala, Shane? Joe Biden's reelection bid faces several obstacles. Voters are still agitated by the past 2 years of inflation. The young are unenthused by the president. The Electoral College is likely still somewhat biased toward the GOP. Non-white voters are drifting rightward, and third-party candidates are threatening to nibble at the Democrats' margin. But Biden's biggest liability by far is his age. If reelected, the president will be 86 years old at the end of his next term. Wow.
Well, Camilla's staff has done her wrong. I'll tell you why, real quick. Nancy Pelosi is such a dope. When asked about her job as vice president, she has to be. She's got to be ready to take over. No, Nancy, she's the president of the Senate. First time in 50 years a vice president has done their job. Why? Because she's the deciding vote. And that would have given her cover for all the other things Biden has asked her to do. She could, every time a vote came up where she made the decision that day, she could have come out and said, I'm trying to do my job as best I can as president of the Senate and make these decisions, while at the same time doing other things for the president. But it's like nobody seems to understand how the government runs, even the people in charge. Number one. Number two, the woman is just, I'm sorry, she still laughs. I mean, pay me $1 million to look at her and fly me to look at her and put me up in a hotel to look at her, and I'll say one thing: stop laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, your cackle gets old after a while. So, well, Democrat operatives still believe that sticking with Biden is the party's best option, and it's hard to argue with this assessment for a simple reason. However bad Biden's numbers are, Vice President Kamala Harris's look worse. In a poll released last week, they found 42% of Americans saying the job Harris is doing makes them think worse of the Biden administration, compared to just 18% who said it makes them feel better about the White House. And among independents, 48% said worse and only 9% better. So even Democrats, only 41% said Harris made them think better of the administration. At the same time, only 30% of Democrats said they feel enthusiastic about Harris being Biden's running mate. So Biden may run, but he may run without Kamala.
No. Look, every person in the Democratic Party that's not woke has come out and said they both have to walk away to save the party. I mean, it's all over the media. So when you see this coming from that side, you can't make the analogy of under the bus or under the train or off an airplane. They're gone. They're both gone. They're walking away.
Yeah. Well, the Democrats find themselves between a rock and a hard place right now, Shane, because the primaries are looming in 3 months, and they're gonna if they're gonna run somebody, they got to get it done. It's got to be before Valentine's Day, I would think. So
Biden's walking away. He wants to keep the money he's raised. He isn't even going to participate in the first two primaries. I mean, what a joke. Mm-hmm. He's not going to play in Iowa or what is it, New Hampshire. I mean, it's a bad. Well, remember, we used to talk about black swans. Now we talk about black vultures. Mm-hmm. remember 3 months ago, I kept saying a black vulture circling the White House. Yeah. Well, it landed. Hunter's in trouble. He's going to start pecking at that dead body.
Well, we'll certainly find out. So anyway, well, there's talk behind the scenes that Biden and Kamala aren't exactly pals with each other, even though she claims to be with him every day or work with him every day or whatever. I bet they hardly ever speak unless they're forced to be together somewhere.
Now, come on, Tom. All vice presidents have lunch on Tuesday with the president. You know, that's what they do.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know.
But Biden's not there long. He's there like for 5 minutes after he finishes his fruit cup, and then he's gone.
Yeah. Well, it's worth noting that even among black voters, Biden tends to have a slightly higher approval rating than Harris. But given the demonstrable pragmatism of the Democrat base in general, the non-white Democrat in particular, it seems possible that Harris's replacement would prompt less backlash than the party's elites fear. I don't think the black community would care if she was gone. I don't think the black community thinks of her as black anyway.
Well, here's a tip. I think the black African that's in the Senate that's running for president is doing so to draw the black vote to the Republican Party. That's why he's there. That's why he's on the stage. That's why he's doing advertising. He's on all the shows because he's saying to black America, Trump asked you, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
I got elected, first in my family to go to college, and now I'm a senator. So let's get on board, folks, because we are now the second largest minority in this country, and we want someone to represent us properly.
Well, it's going to be an interesting election because other things have come to light, particularly in places where it matters, Shane, for Democrats, L.A., San Diego, and New York. With the homeless population, we saw them get after AOC and Gerald Nadler over the weekend.
Bad was that?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Trying to go in there and console people and tell them that we should welcome these guys with open arms and whatever. But and why is New York not just down pounding on the White House door? Close the damn border, Joe. Why are they not down there screaming at the president?
Well, these people are leaving their countries because they have no home, no savings, no income, and they're coming to your country, and these sanctuary cities right off the bat, they give them a home, an income, and food and clothing and education. What's
the problem?
Buy that one-way ticket. I'd buy that one-way ticket.
Yeah, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. For my text line 478-8298, it was Republicans in charge of elections in Georgia. They count the votes. Come on, give me a break. There's no state in the nation that lets one party count the votes.
No, there isn't. No.
The radical right-wing McCarthy idiots with this Biden impeachment hoax, it's going to backfire and give Biden more power. This is stupid. Well,
the huge thing this week, the huge thing this last week was a judge in the case of the 19 people, in Georgia. He said, well, two people, Sydney and another guy, will go on trial in October. Well, Sydney has a problem. She was a lawyer.
Yeah.
And she's the one who came up with the argument about, 20 with the electoral machines. So if she skates by that in a trial, the other 18 or 17 people are going to slide away sometime in the distant future with a trial.
Yeah. Taylor Swift is either a witch or a satirist. I think he means Satanist. She never thanks God. So,
oh my gosh, what a terrible thing to say about someone.
Let's see. Trump is ineligible for the presidency, says new study. Opportunity zones were proposed by Senator Tim Scott, Cory Booker. Trump added his Sharpie signature, but Tom gives Trump credit. Sad. Well, all right, I'll give Congress credit for the Inflation Reduction Act. I'll give them credit for the Infrastructure Act. And Biden's got nothing to do with any of that crap. If you like opportunity zones, vote Tim Scott, his idea. For the love of God, sanctuary cities does not mean give them a home. Geez, Shane is so dishonest. Well, if it doesn't mean give them a home, what does it mean?
Well, wait a second.
Means they're protected.
I'm quoting the mayor of New York City.
Yeah.
Where is this person? Sleepwalking? Even the mayor of L.A. and the mayor of Chicago are admitting they have no funds to provide for these people. And so it's, don't you guys watch the news? Even if it's,
I know.
The woke news, even on the woke news, they say that. Like, ugh.
An orchestrated and coordinated three-prong attack to get Trump. One, trial, charging with possession of classified documents. And, of course, Biden and Mike Pence were discovered to have documents as well. Jack Smith has a trial date set for the day before Super Tuesday voting. It's obvious to all that don't have their ignorant, uninformed leftist heads buried in the sand that this is, at the very least, election interference, in my opinion, tyranny.
Yeah, it's a good opinion because it's true.
Yeah. Last time I checked, Brad Raffensperger was a Republican and in charge of supervising the Georgia votes. So stop the BS. Who counts the votes?
Well, you bet.
The Secretary of State, certifies the vote.
You better look at the appeal, the state appeal judges in Wisconsin, because they said Wisconsin, should have gone to Trump. So the problem with all these prosecutors and all these charges about January 6th and the election is the precedent set in Wisconsin about the 2020 election. They'll all use it.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. We still have one full hour to go. I mean, some animals don't live an hour, their total life. So that's how long it's going to be. It'll seem like a lifetime when we come back. Don't forget, the Bobcats take on the Stetson Hatters, 1 p.m. at the stadium. That'll be on XL Country, 100.7 on your FM dial, so be sure and tune in. Go Cats. Tom and Shane will be back for one final hour right after the news. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. It's 8 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. It's Saturday. It's September 16th, 2023. Tom Eagleoff, your Saturday morning mayor in the house. Shane Matauban, half man, half amazing. I know we have a caller.
I know fact checker on the phone.
I know we've got him on the phone. Hush.
Tell everyone.
Well, you don't have to tell everyone.
I want to. He's great.
All right. But we've got to remind everybody the Stetson Hatters are going to be out at the stadium at 1 p.m. Playing the MSU Bobcats. So you want to get out for that. That'll be on our sister station, XL Country, 100.7 on your FM dial. So we hope that you will appreciate that. Now we can go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with the amazing and award-winning Tom and Shane.
Well, you're not too old, you know. You still got your wits about you.
I do.
You know?
I do.
Oh, yeah. But what the heck is going on? They just, like I've heard on the news, like 2 or 3 times this morning, that they say that Donald Trump doesn't have the mental acuity to run for president again. let me puke. Oh my God. Kamala Harris has got to go. Biden's got to go. The sea monster, hey, stop sending, copy and pasting the same messages every week that you've been doing for this last year. Come on, get creative. It's beautiful here in Bozeman. I seen the hot air balloon. He was up there earlier because I can't miss you guys' show. You know, I just can't do it.
No.
I got to hear Nancy, and it was so nice to hear that fella there that's got the app. He's a little bit older. I don't know. He might be a little older than you, Tom.
A little older. Yeah. He's a little older than me.
Calling from Colorado. Oh, that was amazing. That was right on. You know. So if you want to take me to, I am in Bozeman today, Sean or Tom. So if you want to take me to lunch, you can always do that.
Well,
with all the breakfasts and lunches Tom owes me, you can have one on me. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's so kind of you. But one of the things that's been freaking me out a little bit is that Kim Jong-un going over to meeting with Russia. Yeah, you know, there's something going on over there, and it could get really scary. Especially since we can't get rid of Biden until January.
Yeah.
So,
yep, that's tough.
We could be in World War or something. That there's something down the pike that I'm not liking at all.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
But, yeah.
Well, there we go.
But yeah. But if you want to take me to lunch, you got my phone number there.
I do. All right. All right, John.
Call after the show. All right. Well, have a great day.
All right. Take care. All right.
What I think is going on here is both China and Russia are trying to convince the great leader of North Korea to attack the South because it's an armistice.
Yeah.
And the minute that happens, under the agreement, all the Western countries have to go support South Korea. That includes Canada. I don't want to send any Trump troops to South Korea again.
Yeah.
But that's what will happen. I mean, we have so much to worry about that, you know, comes out of literally left field with the woke.
Yeah. Well, full transparency, Trump is 2 years younger than I am, and Biden is 20 days older than I am, or 10 days older than I am. So there you are. So I do know I'm in Montana.
So, and you know your birthday.
I know a lot of things.
That's right. You're the man.
That's
Eagle
it.
Man.
From our text line 478-8298 from Jeff, Republicans didn't mind when Thurman was wheeled into the Senate and raised his arm to vote at over 100 years old. Don't get me started on Grassley and Iowa. Shane, question to you. What's your favorite part of Trump being a sexual predator that makes you vote for him? Well, Shane can't vote for.
Well, first of all, the definition of a sexual predator is with someone under 18. So,
yeah,
you know, if you're going to use some kind of adjective, use a proper one. Yeah. With regards to, you know, whatever his personal life has been, it's all been out there. I mean, it's been out there for what? We're getting close to 10 years. Yeah. I mean, because it was out there, you know, back in the 80s with his wives and everything else. So,
yeah.
You know, wake up. It's, you know, like I've said before, better the devil you know than the devil you got.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we you know, Trump joins a long and distinguished list of folks who dallied on the side. Dwight Eisenhower. We didn't know about Kennedy at the time until much later, I guess, after him. Clinton we knew about, of course. And
yeah, but you got a president sniffing little girls and children's girls, little baby girls' hair and the smell of a baby. You know, you want to talk about a, you know.
Yeah, you want to talk about something creepy. 478-8298 is our text line. A sanctuary city is a municipality that limits or denies its cooperation with the national government in enforcing immigration law. That'd be true.
To some extent, but that's not the way they've sold it. A sanctuary city was created to welcome, the nearly 30 million illegal immigrants in your country. Let's be honest about it. They stepped into that one big time. Now they're trying to back out.
Yeah. Maybe, just maybe, Trump is guilty of not cooperating with the archives and lied to them. Read the indictment. I don't have to read the indictment. The court is going to read the indictment, and they're going to decide what happened to it.
What I don't understand is now they've indicted Hunter. Why didn't they raid his home and his father's home?
Yeah.
And the home he's renting in California or has rented in California. It's just, if the system wasn't so one way, you'd have a two-way street.
Yeah. Let's see. I know it's hard to believe a guy who lied to wives, fake university, and all would lie to the National Archives and election results. What does it say about a person who supports a convicted sex offender to lead our nation and be a role model to our kids? Well, Clinton did it. So we learned today a sanctuary city does not mean free stuff, just means a municipality that limits or denies its cooperation with the national government. NOG, no old guys. There's a great Republican who will not be in jail next year who can easily beat Biden. Go Nikki.
And let's not forget that Clinton, as a sexual predator, lied and got reelected because he lied.
That's true. And was impeached and got reelected. So
that's right.
Trump was convicted of sexual assault. He's a predator. I'm old enough to remember when Republicans cared about character and thought Clinton was bad for sex with Lewinsky. Not now. A guy convicted of sexual assault is not a game changer. Your party doesn't accept election results. You think they will accept a jury. Give me a break. Well, we accept the results and the juries. So
that's right.
There you are. Billings will welcome 100 immigrants with assistance and housing families per KBZK News. Meanwhile, American families need help. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The last few texters ago saying Biden will become more popular. No, it doesn't work like that. Biden is guilty and an idiot. Trump was charged with BS and having a great sense of humor. That's from our listener, Jen. Thanks, Jen.
Good point,
Maybe I should only read texts that people sign.
Well, one of the things that's really important to just mention, one of the great things about Trump is he learns from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Reagan made a mistake, admitted to it, and everyone forgave him. Mm-hmm. So Trump, he admits mistakes and makes jokes out of it.
That's true.
That's one of the things that upsets the left so much is he's honest. I mean, and he admits to when he's wrong.
Yeah. Vote Taylor Swift. She draws bigger crowds and charges for admission. Yeah, I would just soon have her as Biden. Trump still thinks he won. Proof he's deranged. So.
Yeah.
Trump is innocent, says people who refuse to read the indictment and base opinions on people on radio. All right. Yeah. Okay, let's assume everybody listening right now read the indictment. What does that do? What does that accomplish in that way? I mean, so what?
They learn how the system works, and they learn how prosecutors create an indictment.
I guess you'll learn.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess you'll learn how an indictment is written and
how the legal system works. I'm all for that. All in.
When has Trump ever admitted a mistake ever?
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, I don't know. Well, let's go on here because we've got news we've got to talk about here. That
let's do this poll thing with Rosendale and Xi.
You want to do that? All right.
Yeah, because I think this is good. But I mean, a guy that with the last name Tester, this is going to be a real tester. Sarcasm, Thomas.
Let me find that. Where is that? I got to find it on my list here. My list is so long that...
I know it is. Well, the poll you have shows U.S. Senator John Tester, who's running for a 4th term. That's 24 years. The support for Sheehy over Tester is 46 to 42, and Rosendale over Tester 46 to 43. So, that's wow. The people that responded to this poll were 35% were identified as Republicans and 24% as Democrats. So I know we don't, like to go on polls, but state polls sometimes are pretty good because, it's more of a abstract in the sense of the people they talk to. And with Great Falls going, blue, and Billings being blue, all you have left is the Flathead Valley, right?
Well, Billings not blue.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Will be soon.
Well, maybe, but... well, yeah, I agree with you. I think, when you talk to somebody about national polls, party becomes prominent. And I think when you talk about to a pollster doing state polls, issues become prominent. So,
well, I agree with you, but I think in this case that Rosendale and Sheehy, especially with the primary they got to go through, they should be talking about what 24 years. I don't think so. That's all.
Yeah.
You're talking about a California senator. You're talking about the Speaker of the House, X. All these. He's had his time. Let's go Montana.
Yeah.
Or rather, let go Montana. Let's go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good election.
There you go. Well, it'll be interesting. Sheehy over Tester 46 to 42, Rosendale over Tester 46-43, and those respondents comprised 35% self-identified Republicans and 24% Democrats. So it was a
have you ever met
even poll, but.
Have you ever met Sheehy or Rosendale?
What about it?
Have you met them? Or
no.
Talked to them?
No.
Well, you put it out there. Sheehy, Rosendale, call in, be part of our show. Come in and sit with Tom. It's free advertising on a great show that everyone listens to in Montana.
There you go. Yeah, they should do that. So, well, once it gets closer to the election, we may have, obviously we'll have some local folks in as we've did in the last election. So,
okay, I have a question for you. Tester calls in. What question would you ask him?
The first question I was asking him is, why didn't you stand up for the Keystone Pipeline?
Bingo.
Yeah, that'd be the first thing.
Yeah.
If you read the indictment, you will be educated and learn what the government has on Trump. You will see photos. You will see evidence they have against him. Then and only then should you make an opinion. I haven't made any kind of opinion. Neither one of us have. Well, I know you have, but yeah.
I have. He's not guilty. There's, it's a false fire alarm, and that's all. They have nothing else to do. I mean,
I have no opinion on his guilt or innocence. That's up to the jury and the judge to decide. Reading the indictment isn't going to sway any vote of the judge or the jury either way. My job is not here to voice my opinion.
It's remarkable. First of all, the Democrat, the Wokes, the Demolition Party, whatever you want to refer to them as, they've overstepped trying to hit Trump, number one. Number two, finally, after 30 years, you're going to find out that the Democratic Party has been accusing the Republicans of everything the Democratic Party's been doing. So if this election doesn't come to that, and besides all the other issues, boy, it'll be a tough election night.
All right. A woman comes out of nowhere, claims Trump raped her in a department store about 30 years ago, based biased jury acquisition. Trump finds him guilty of some sexual harassment or something. Just the idea of a man rich and powerful that has no problem getting beautiful women would do something like this is ridiculous. No evidence, no witness, and just another fake charge. And many people think she did it to sell her book.
Of course she did.
Remember when Joseph Goebbels said, Nazi propaganda minister, if you tell a lie often enough, people will believe it. 4 years of investigation and impeachment, and nothing was found. I would like to see that form of scrutiny for the present administration. Yeah, I was going to say. Russian hoax made Trump poll better. Biden hoax will make him poll better. McCarthy is being played by the alt-right nuts. Mm-hmm. The Keystone was one of over 400 pipes. Stupid, but U.S. Production is at an all-time high right now. I don't care about the production. The reason I would question him about the pipeline is the $90 million every year in property taxes that the poorest counties in Montana would get from that pipeline paid for by Canada.
Yeah, you know, at a 30% additional cost to us.
If you, meaning listeners, read the indictment, you will be educated. Listening to a guy on the radio is propaganda. I'm not saying anything about the indictment. If you want to read it, read it. I don't care. Tom is the exception, but the rest of the talking heads on radio are propaganda. A jury claims Trump raped her, yet your listeners don't believe a jury. The jury didn't convict him of rape. Point made, your cult won't accept a jury. We accept the jury. I accept he was charged and convicted of sexual assault. What am I supposed to do?
Just be honest. That's what you're supposed to do.
Tell all the libs to stop pushing the indictment that was written by a corrupt DOJ. Jury convicted Trump of sexual assault. Your listeners don't believe a jury. I believe I just said he was convicted of sexual assault. Did I not?
I listen to you.
I was going to say, I realize I don't listen to the show, but, you know.
Well, you're not like some people on radio that yell at, you know.
Well, that's true, yeah.
You just reflect the truth.
Well, nobody's texting in all caps. So
I know. Eagle Man flies straight. Yeah. He's a straight shooter.
Trump has every right to audit the election, which was fully legal. And he does. He has every right to audit what went on.
Yeah, and he paid for it, too.
And he paid for it, yeah. So there we go.
I mean, literally paid for it. I got to be clear about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, impeachment, Shane. McCarthy's looking to impeach.
No. He's not looking to impeach. He's looking to investigate.
Yeah, it's an inquiry.
An inquiry, so they can gather more evidence and create a bigger dumpster fire. That's what I said. Good politics, good policy, and it keeps it, in the headlines. And slowly but surely, the left and the news, they're all coming to realize there is a problem here for the Biden family.
Yeah.
Even on CNN, Thomas. I mean, seriously.
I know,
CNN.
You're right, yeah. Well, the decision to launch an impeachment inquiry, President Biden carries serious risk as well as opportunities for his party. The speaker, who famously took 15 rounds of voting to be elected to the current position, is under pressure from the right flank to take action. But will this embolden the Democrats even more so to rally behind Biden?
Nope.
You don't think so, huh?
No. He's finished.
Well, if they're going after Trump and the Trump supporters are rallying, why wouldn't the Biden supporters rally behind him?
Well, because it's less than 31% of the Democratic Party.
All right. If you say so. All right. That's got to wrap.
I don't.
We still have another half hour to go. Oh, we're having fun this morning, aren't we? All right. It's 29 after the hour. It's Saturday. It's September 16th, 2023. Tom and Jane on Saturday. We'll be right back following these important words. So don't go away. There may be a test afterwards. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Saturday. It's September 16th, 2023. And the Bobcats are going to take on the Stetson Hatters. 1 o'clock at the stadium. That will be on our sister station, XL Country, 100.7 on your FM dial. Well, China is preparing for war, according to the Air Force Secretary, Shane. What do you think? Are we going to war with China?
Nah, their numbers are really bad. And look, the 4 million claimed army is a police force in China. And I've said for 3 years, wait till you see 400 million middle-class Chinese in the street rioting, because the country, is collapsing, and it is. China. Look what China just did. They just announced that people that work for the Chinese government, across the country can't use iPhones. That's as bad as what our prime minister did in Canada. Do you realize you cannot get news from Meta, Facebook, in Canada? They've disallowed Facebook in Canada to provide news to people. So it happens here. It's worse there.
Wow. Well, Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall on Monday warned that China was building up its military to prepare for a potential war with the U.S., and he said America must optimize its forces to counter the rising threat. Now, we know, Shane, that our military is severely depleted because of Ukraine.
Well, that's what they tell us.
Yeah, that's what they tell us. I think it's kind of evident watching the news, and every time when they shoot off 75 rockets from a pickup truck, that we're a little short of ammo.
Yeah, but it's politics, Thomas. You know that. Everybody in the Pentagon and everybody in the Department of Defense doesn't want their budget cut, and they want more money. So they gotta have a story. They gotta have a strategy, and this is a good one because it sounds viable. If they were so ill prepared with stockpiles to give it all away and not have it for your country, then they should all resign. All of them.
Yeah.
The entire Joint Chiefs of Staff should resign or be fired. That's my position.
Yeah, you can start with Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Very good.
The Air Force, the Air Force says China's been reoptimizing its forces for greater power competition and to prevail against the U.S. in the Western Pacific for over the past 20 years.
Well, what the giveaway for me on this is real simple. This whole story about these high speed or rockets that China has, they wouldn't talk about it if they didn't have an answer to it. You know what I'm saying? We've seen this with your military for 60 years. I mean, really, come on. So once again, you're in a situation where, they got a bunch of basic PT boats. We all know the Kennedy PT 109. Yeah, that's basically what China's built. Well, great. Cross the China Straits and drop off 10 guys. Like, please.
Well, I guess we'll find out. So, if it's
anywhere, it'll be North Korea attacking South Korea in Asia. That's my big concern. That's all I see.
Well, you've also got Taiwan in the mix as well.
Nah.
Why not? I mean, they're right off the coast. Do we really want to go to war right off the coast of China?
We've been through it. China's never successfully invaded anyone in 3,000 years. The only two things that China's done is won 2 civil wars. One 3,000 years ago and one with Mao, and that's it. They didn't do anything else. Didn't do anything in World War II. You know, they didn't do anything. They got sacked when they went into Vietnam after your country left. You know, that's the last time they invaded someone, back in, you know, during the Ford presidency, and they got whacked in 4 months. The Vietnamese booted them out, and they lost 200,000 men. So no, China's no, it's just not going to happen. Money, money, money. Ring the bell, says the Department of Defense. Ring the bell.
From our text line, 4788298, China wants war with Taiwan. They need U.S. consumers to buy their stuff. Meta is not news. Neither is Fox. Our military is not depleted. You need to turn off Fox. I just need to look at any news you want to about Ukraine. I mean, they've been talking about that forever. Shane is actually right. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Shane is actually right. Our military generals want more and more. They make up stories to get more money for more. General Milley's a great general, but he committed a cardinal sin, told the truth about incompetent Trump. So, yeah. Let's see. If there was ever a president that deserved to be removed from office, it's Joe Biden. Bribe-taking, influence-peddling, treasonous, corrupt, lying, lifelong Washington, D.C. parasite.
Ouch.
So there you are. We Trumplicans now hate people we once loved because they told the truth. Bill Barr.
So what a giggle this week when Romney announced that he wasn't going to seek re-election. Yeah. That was a big surprise. I called that one a year ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were pretty sure he wasn't going to be back anymore. So,
no.
Yeah. Let's see. All the commie Democrats harping about a sexual assault brought up while Trump was a private citizen 30 years ago, yet the facts that our current president threw his wife to the curb when she was ill, dating his babysitter, when he was in office. Facts are facts. I still don't understand how a man who's never been in office until elected president is blamed for all Americans' problems by the people who have been in office since the 1970s. Makes a lot of sense to me.
And it's the truth.
In the 1970s, Montana Power received much negative press with the creation of coal strip power plants. D.A. Davidson Company gave Montana Power a program to allow electric customers to purchase stock in the company when they paid the monthly power bill. 2 years later, the president of Montana Power said it's amazing how fast detractors become supporters when they have a stake in the company. And the major auto manufacturers may want to try this approach with the UAW workers to see if they would reduce labor issues. That's from Tom. Well, I would say in the case of Montana Power went south because the company went to cell phones instead of power, which they were doing.
Well, they went to internet access.
Yeah,
is what they did, and it failed. But Dennis Quaid has just put out a great a movie about the collapse of the grid in your country and how devastating it would be. We've been warning this for 10 years. So.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to remind everyone, you got to write your congressmen, state senators, the governor, your senators, your House of Representatives. Get off the grid. There's 3 grids in the United States. Texas has its own. The East Coast, Northeast has 1/3 of the population on a grid, and the rest of the country's on a grid. Get independent. Get off the grid. Go back to a Montana Power situation, because you don't want to have anything to do with that type of situation in a state like yours, because it would be worse for people in a state like Montana. It would be devastating if you were in New York. Oh, my God. It would. Oh, my. What would happen would be unbelievable.
Yeah. Amen to that. So, well, the other thing you got to think about that these UAW workers have to think about is that it takes fewer people to build an electric vehicle than it does to build a gas vehicle. So their layoffs are looming if they continue down this electric car road.
Well, Trump's on tomorrow on the Today Show. They got rid of Todd finally. what a
Chuck
dope
Todd
he was. Yeah. Chuck Todd's gone, and they have a gal that's going to interview Trump, and you've seen the teases, and he's saying that the UAW leaders are, they're hurting their union because they're not opposing what the government's doing with, combustion engines, and that's what they build. Yeah. So it's a joke.
Well, another story we've been teasing yet this morning, a state judge in Helena Wednesday blocked portions of a law passed by the 2023 legislature to create a system of charter schools, or what supporters call community choice schools, in Montana. Judge Chris Abbott barred state officials, including Superintendent Elsie Artisan, I never can get her name right, Artisan, from enforcing a large chunk of House Bill 562, which lawmakers approved on largely party lines this spring. However, Abbott declined to block a part of the bill establishing an autonomous state commission to oversee the new choice school system. All 7 members of the commission have been appointed and will be allowed to meet, hire staff, and adopt bylaws, although Abbott did prohibit them from considering applications for school charters or for local entities seeking authority to approve charters themselves while the case continues. So charter schools, I guess, are out for the moment in Montana, Shane, until they get this thing resolved.
Well, I think that this is a government policy of your state because of costs, right? They're wanting to maintain the cost of education because there's such an extreme use of state funds for public schools, and the judge is in on it. That's all.
Well, we'll find out, I guess. The plaintiffs seeking the injunction, which include Montana Quality Education Coalition, the League of Women Voters of Montana, and several individual parents and educators, challenge that the bill violates the Montana Constitution on a number of grounds, among them the diversion of state funds to schools they maintain that are not public schools.
Well, the Republican Party in Montana should draft legislation to support that because they don't want to lose those votes. That's what I think, Thomas.
Yeah. Well, a spokesman for Governor Gianforte, who along with Arneson is a defendant in the lawsuit, offered the following statement. The governor remains committed to empowering Montana parents to choose the education that best meets the individual needs of their child, including the option of public charter schools. So, well,
there you go. See.
So we'll see how that plays out as time goes on, I guess. I don't
know. We're coming down to the last 6 minutes.
I know. Yeah. Shane is right. We should use our budget surplus to make our grid robust and able to be independent, and use our surplus to wean us off federal funding for the state.
Yeah, well, some brokerage firm in Montana start a utility for Montana Utility 2.0. That why don't they?
You would think so. Yeah,
Montanans would invest in it. They would.
Less people to make a vehicle. How shocking. It's called capitalism. While in the past, you could feel a guaranteed 25-year job with benefits, and now you have to keep getting educated to stay ahead. Amen to that. Yeah, you do. It's going to be tough for a lot of these people because look how much automation has killed employment in the automotive industry already, Shane.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. Let's see. Ukraine is depleted, not our military.
Well, I could get this wrong, but I think it's right. I heard someone commenting about the fact that the Russians have fired 90 million shells in 14 years against the Ukraine. 90 million. Of course, I mean, this is wild what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Maybe 9 million, but either number's just overwhelming.
I'm tired of this Canadian guy on your show bashing our president and country.
I don't bash anyone. I just comment.
Yeah.
If I do anything, I'm sarcastic. I'm not a basher.
Yeah.
I just call for common sense on a lot of stuff. That's all. Hey, I called out, and you called out Trump when we thought he was wrong, right?
Yeah.
We didn't bash him. We just disagreed with him.
Yeah. Tom, from my previous text message, had nothing to do with Montana Power going out of business. No, I just added that as an aside. It was simply a comment on an investment program that changed the attitude and perception of a company that previously had a negative image. Your additional comment was off the mark. So, well, they went out of business. A lot of people lost their shirts. So
they did. Yeah.
I'll stand by that, I think. If the climate change hysteria war on the petroleum industry and New Green Deal agenda isn't stopped, there's going to be a lot of angry, cold, and hungry people. Yeah, there will be.
Yeah, I want to remind people, the guy that sold Montana Power, I believe it was like for $700 million to a conglomerate in North Carolina or South Carolina, somewhere in the east. And then a year later, they turned around and sold it for $1.2 billion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got bagged on that deal.
Yeah. Last time I checked, Biden passed an infrastructure bill to beef up our grid. Trumpy couldn't get that done. I don't think the infrastructure bill has anything to do with the grid.
No. Limiting it.
Maybe it does. I don't know.
No, limiting it, to windmills and solar panels and heat pumps, burning wood.
Didn't Montana Power fail because our farmer government, Roscoe, influenced Montana Power to invest in the company that failed? Well, that could be. I know there was some. Well, in retrospect, the cell phone and internet was really going into its beginning popularity, and there was reason to believe that would be a sound investment at the time, Shane.
Yeah, but it was fiber optics, and the infrastructure cost of fiber optics was huge back in the 80s and 90s. Trillions were spent, lost, and the only ones that were of any value were to replace the cross ocean cable system. So, it was just really bad management, making terrible decisions. I mean, the cost of laying fiber optics across Montana to farmhouses was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, all right. Sounds good to me. Why not? Well, in other news, prosecutor from in Georgia, Fannie Willis, Shane, her father was a Black Panther leader back in the day. And what do they say? The acorn doesn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, I'd say a walnut in this case.
Yeah.
Walnut, literally a walnut.
Yeah.
Not not the nut, the walnut.
Yeah, her father was big pals with Angela Davis back in the day, it kind of gives you a little bit of an indication of her background and her influences being brought up in that environment.
Yeah, her woke indoctrination started in her home. 40 years ago, before wokeism was even around.
That would be true. So why are homes so expensive? Boomers are the problem, Shane. U.S. prices across the country are surging, even with the astronomical rise in mortgage rates, putting ownership out of reach for millions of Americans. The spike in interest rates, which dropped 7% last year for the first time in 2 decades, has created a golden handcuff effect on the housing market. So,
Well, there's the dirty story here is that foreign ownership and buying U.S. properties and homes is number one cause. The second is BlackRock buying up, cheap homes that just to own. So, unlike Canada, we have laws that allow you to, buy a home that's in distress and remodel it and stay in it for 9 months, and you can sell it at a profit and keep it. Mm-hmm. Your country can't come up with simple solutions to what really is a basic problem.
Yeah. Well, data suggests that demographics are likely to support demand in the foreseeable future, consistent with annual household formation of around 1.3 million units through the end of the decade. So the accumulated shortage of new housing units remains considerable, putting upward pressure on housing prices and rents, and thereby encouraging additional construction. So we'll see.
Yep. Especially when you look at commercial real estate, because over $2 trillion in debt has to be rolled over in the next 9 months in your country for commercial real estate. So this is another black swan. I'm waiting to see land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the Jimmy Carter was in the news also. His grandson says that both Jimmy and Rosalind are coming to the end. The president's nearing 100, and the wife was just diagnosed with dementia, Shane. So sad situation for both of them. Yeah,
they're under home care at home.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So,
but it's a remarkable life. I mean, can you imagine? 100 years, I know, and having been president, that's pretty good on him.
Yeah, he's lived in the same house in Plains, Georgia that he built in 1950, and quite honestly, he was a much better person as a non-president than he ever was as president. I mean, his philanthropic endeavors, humanity, houses for humanity or homes for humanity. Whatever it was.
Well, and being a peanut farmer, I mean, gosh, I love my peanut butter, so I'm grateful.
Yeah, peanut farmer. Guy came out of nowhere, started shaking hands at factories and whatever, way before social media was around, and pretty amazing that he was able to be governor, and second to rise to the presidency. From a small state, and not really a name brand person at the time.
Yeah, the only guy close to him is Truman. That FDR picked up on in his third race to be reelected. And he was a road resurfacer. So
yeah, he's approaching 99, and as I said earlier, Rosalind, his wife, is recently diagnosed with dementia, and she's going to turn 96 in August. So they've been together for quite a while, Shane. Pretty good.
They sure have, buddy.
Yeah,
they sure have.
Yeah, just making it that long is certainly something to be said for the American dream, I guess. So, yeah, pretty exciting. So,
well, we're coming to the end of another good show.
We are.
Lots of callers. Thank you, BFF Eagle Man.
Yeah,
you make this special, and I'm so grateful for you having me in your life and on your show. And everybody be happy, be safe, because why not? We live in the first country and one of the best country clubs in the world. Mm-hmm. So live in the moment, because that's all you have in this life are moments, and forever moments are the best.
Mm-hmm.
And be happy with the family you have and the things you have. And remember, it's what you need, not what you want right now. And come home with a smile on your face. Thank you, Thomas. Have a great, great weekend.
All right. You too. Thanks, Shane. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Don't forget the Stetson Hatters are going to pay a visit to the Bobcats at 1 o'clock. That'll be on our sister station, XL Country, 100.7 on your FM dial. And or go out to the game. Go out and have a good time. Enjoy yourself out there. All right, that's it for us. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the texters. Thanks to the callers. Thanks to everybody listening to us. Thanks so much for supporting us. We really appreciate you. And I am out of here.